If there's a folder on your desktop that wasn't there yesterday, don't click it. Especially if it already has your real name. I'm serious. This isn't another virus, ransomware scam, or creepy internet myth. Viruses infect computers. This file already knows exactly who will open it before it ever appears. There's one detail I've never admitted publicly because every time I even hint at it, the folder comes back. I wish that sounded insane. Computers don't create files from nowhere. Downloads leave traces. Someone has to send them. This one doesn't. It simply waits until you're alone, then appears like it has always belonged there. The worst part? Thousands of people have probably opened it without ever realizing they were chosen. Mine appeared on a Tuesday afternoon, and I made the mistake everyone else eventually makes. Until that Tuesday, my life was painfully ordinary. I worked from home, ignored software updates longer than I should have, and spent the afternoon clearing years of forgotten screenshots, duplicate photos, and useless downloads. It was the kind of boring maintenance everyone promises they'll do someday. Then I noticed a zip folder sitting alone on my desktop. Its name wasn't random. It was my full legal name. Not a nickname. Not a username. Every letter was correct. I laughed, assuming one of my friends was trying too hard to scare me. But when I opened the properties, the joke stopped being funny. The creation date was nearly 6 years old, 3 years before I had even bought that computer. The creator field was blank. There was no download history, no source, no recent activity. Even my antivirus finished scanning it with one unsettling message: no threats detected. I grabbed my phone and texted my closest friend. "Did you send me this?" A minute later, he replied, "What file?" I uploaded screenshots to 2 forums, a subreddit, and my social media account. Within minutes, every post vanished. Comments disappeared too. When I asked people why they deleted their replies, they insisted they had never seen my screenshots at all. Then one final notification appeared from an account with no profile picture. "Delete it before it opens itself." Before I could respond, the account disappeared completely. Somewhere, people clearly recognized the file. None of them wanted to admit it. My curiosity won. I double-clicked. The zip extracted instantly. No loading bar. No destination window. 1 second it was compressed, and the next an entire directory filled my screen. The folders weren't named after projects or dates. They were labeled with years. 2004, 2005, 2006. Every year of my life was waiting for me. At first I expected family photos or forgotten backups. Instead, I found things that should have been impossible. There were audio files of conversations that had never been recorded, including one between my parents after they thought I had fallen asleep. There were childhood drawings I remembered tearing apart before throwing them into a fireplace. Deleted phone pictures I had erased years ago sat untouched inside neatly organized folders. A document described a recurring nightmare I'd had at age 11, word for word, including details I'd never told anyone. Another contained medical reports from appointments that had never happened, diagnosing illnesses I didn't have. There were unsent messages addressed to people I'd only imagined texting during lonely nights. Each file felt less like stolen data and more like stolen pieces of my mind. Then I noticed a plain text document called "Read Me First." I opened it. The first line made my stomach tighten. "Hello, my full legal name. We've been collecting your data since before you could remember your own name." I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, because my brain refused to accept anything else. Before I could close the document, another file appeared beside it. Its title kept changing. I clicked it. Words began typing themselves across the screen. "You're looking at the window." I was. "Now you're rubbing your left hand." I stopped instantly. The typing continued. "You'll try closing this document in 3 seconds." I slammed it shut. Silence. Then another message appeared on my desktop. "You'll open it again in 18 seconds. I whispered the countdown aloud, determined to prove it wrong. By 16, my hand was already reaching for the mouse. By 18, I opened it. "How is this happening?" I whispered. The reply appeared before my echo faded. "We've been asking you that for years." New folders materialized one after another. Passwords. Every password I'd ever created. Nightmares. Dreams I'd forgotten until reading them. Fears. Every childhood terror, every secret embarrassment, every lie I had buried so deeply that even I barely remembered them. Finally, one last folder appeared. Tomorrow. I stared at it without breathing. No, I said. I'm not opening that. The folder opened anyway. Inside was a single video. It showed tomorrow morning. I was standing over a motionless body. Then the recording paused on my face. Beneath it, one sentence appeared. This isn't the first file. Read the rules before they read you. That's when I realized every folder was hiding something far worse than memories. I dug deeper into the folders until I found a document hidden beneath layers of meaningless file names. Its title was impossible to ignore. Read before continuing. The list inside looked absurd. Never rename the folder. Never disconnect the internet. Never tell another person your real name while the file is open. Ignore voices coming from unplugged speakers. If a folder named Visitors appears, do not open your bedroom door. I actually laughed. It sounded like one of those fake internet rituals designed to scare teenagers. Then my speakers whispered my name. They weren't even plugged in. The sound was quiet, almost affectionate, as though someone stood inches behind my chair. I spun around. Nobody. When I looked back, a new folder had appeared. Visitors. A slow knock echoed from somewhere downstairs. 3 careful taps. My phone vibrated across the desk. Unknown number. I answered before I could stop myself. At first there was nothing except slow breathing. Then a voice I recognized immediately. My own. Soft. Almost smiling. You already let us in. The call ended. Every light in my apartment flickered once. Twice. Then the hallway outside my room creaked. Heavy footsteps climbed the stairs one deliberate step at a time. I scrolled back to the document, desperate to reread it. One final rule waited at the bottom. Every word had been blacked out, as if something refused to let me see it. I've never tried uncovering those lines, and I'm never going to tell you what I think was hidden beneath them. Instead, I made the stupidest decision of my life. I decided to break every single rule just to prove none of it was real. I unplugged the router first. Nothing happened. Then I deleted the folder. It came back before the recycle bin finished loading. I formatted the entire drive, reinstalled everything from scratch, and even smashed the computer with a hammer after convincing myself hardware couldn't haunt me. For a few days, life felt normal again. Then I bought a new laptop for work. The folder was already there. My phone updated overnight. There it was again. The smart TV in my living room suddenly listed a storage directory I'd never seen before. Inside waited my name. Even a public library computer displayed the same zip file seconds after I signed in. It didn't matter whose device I touched. The folder always found me. Worse, every new copy contained one additional folder that hadn't existed before. Its title changed every time I opened it. Dates, coordinates, names. Until one afternoon, it finally settled on a single label. Next owner. I stared at it for nearly an hour before clicking. There was only one image. A dark silhouette stood silently behind someone sitting at a computer. The face was blurred beyond recognition. But the clothes weren't. The hoodie, the faded jeans, even the tear in my sleeve. They were exactly what I was wearing that day. That's when I understood the file had stopped collecting me. It was preparing someone else. And I finally understood why I had to tell this story. Months later, the folder disappeared. Or maybe I simply stopped noticing it. That's worse. If you've listened this far, understand something. Some people never download the file. Sometimes it finds them first. Before you close this video, check your desktop. Wait. Really? Look. If there's a zip file with your real name on it, don't open it. Don't rename it. Don't pretend you never saw it. Just leave. If I'm right, you'll hear typing after this. And when the screen goes black, remember, every previous case began with curiosity. Then one final line appeared. Download complete. You were never supposed to hear my confession unless it had already chosen you.